If you would stop working today, how many days, months or years could you survive on your savings? That is the definition of wealth, because for the rich, wealth is measured in time, not money. In his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, author Robert Kiyosaki explains the secret financial intelligence that wealthy families teach their children. He proves that our school system lacks of giving us financial education and that it's a myth that you need to earn a high income to become rich. Kiyosaki gives us his 5 best money lessons, and if you know them, you will never be poor again. So make sure to watch this video until the end to understand the important principles he teaches us in his story of growing up with 2 dads, his real father and the father of his best friend, his rich dad. Despite earning well, Kiyosaki's poor dad was always struggling financially. But his rich dad was on his way to becoming one of the wealthiest men in the world. His poor dad always gave him the advice, if you want to become successful, go through our school system and get a good degree to be able to get a well-paying job in the future. His rich dad instead taught him a strong financial education that we go through step by step in the following 5 lessons. Lesson 1. Make money work for you. Poor people work for money, but rich people make money work for them. This phrase is quite familiar and easy to understand, but it's extremely hard to implement. Since childhood, we were taught to get a degree and work hard for getting rewards. You see, working hard on a regular basis to get a promotion and create financial stability, that's what poor dad's lectures always were about. But rich dad didn't work hard because he had employees. That's the major difference between the mindset of the middle class and the rich. Because what holds us back from changing sides from employee to business owner is fear. Most people work hard in random jobs and accept minimum wages just because they fear not even having a job. The middle class fears poverty, and this is what drives them to participate in a rat race in which they won't get poor, but they also never get rich. Always remember, workers work hard enough to not be fired, and owners pay just enough so that the workers won't quit. Another reason why people work hard and accept low-paying jobs is that they often love what they do. Especially for younger generations, this plays a big role. We pursue a job and work hard, waiting to get rich and get a promotion. But in most cases, that just does not happen. In fact, rich people don't like everything they do. Kiyosaki, for instance, despised the process of writing a book, but he still wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad to fulfill his purpose and tell everyone what he had learned about financial intelligence. So instead of doing what he loved, he did things like studying taxes or the economy and so on to be able to acquire the assets he loves. Because having assets is the major difference between the rich and the middle class. And this leads us to lesson 2. Improve your financial education. To make money work for you, you must know how to manage it properly. Even if you have huge paychecks, without having a proper understanding of finances, you won't be able to keep your money. You have to understand the difference between liabilities and assets. The majority of people think that a nice house for their family or a huge car is an asset that they can sell later and earn a profit. But that's not true. In fact, those are liabilities. And the primary cause of financial struggle is simply not knowing the difference between a liability and an asset. A liability takes money out of your pockets, while an asset puts money into your pockets. And that's the main reason why the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. You see, people often mistake their liabilities as assets. So we have to prevent that this happens with knowledge. To make the picture clearer and make sure that you understand the difference between liabilities and assets, always remember, your income is money going into your pockets. Your expenses is money going out of your pockets. Things like food, clothing, or rent. Now, an asset is something that allows its owner to generate an income. On the opposite, a liability generates expenditure. When rich people get their income, they use it to buy assets, such as stocks or real estate. And on the long run, these resources create more income for them in the future as a form of passive income. And that is the key, passive income. Earning money that doesn't require you to trade your time for it. You see, passive income even works for you while you sleep. The middle class earns money from a job or sometimes even 2 or 3 jobs, but they spend their salary on liabilities, which they think are assets, like the house they live in or their car or the latest smartphone or expensive vacations. But these are liabilities and they don't work for you. They will only take money out of your pockets. Always remember, the rich let money work for them. This is one of the most important rules you need to know if you want to become rich. With a fancy car, you might look rich, but it's just taking money out of your pockets and loses its value from time to time. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. While the wannabe rich people flaunt their money as proof that they are rich, those who are actually rich keep themselves busy making money work for them by acquiring assets to make sure they are able to stay rich. Always remember, most people fail to realize that in life, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. That means you don't need to have the highest salary and focus only on getting promoted, because often, as soon as people get a raise, they also spend more money on liabilities. Instead, you have to ensure that you are able to keep your money by investing it in assets. In fact, every dollar you put into some assets can be seen as an employee working for you. And the best thing about money is that it can work for you 24 hours a day, and it can work for generations. All you need to do is following lesson 4. Invest in assets. Instead of being in a constant fear that you might end up losing your job and your money, start investing into assets, because playing safe does not protect your money, but investing creates and also generates more wealth. That's why you must learn to take risks. In fact, being brave enough to take risks is something rich people have in common. But to take some risks, you once again have to conquer your fear, or great opportunities in life will pass you by. The fear of losing money is so powerful, it prevents many people from investing in stocks, real estate, or other assets. You have to appreciate that success always takes guts. To become wealthy, knowledge and financial education are the foundation, but on top of that, you need courage. Remember, the higher the potential for return, the higher is also the risk. So handling some risks for being able to take some chances is necessary, and that is what Rich Dad would want us to do, at least sometimes. Because his personal financial statement reflects the result of a life dedicated to minimizing liabilities and investing. That's why his assets are greater than his liabilities and his income is higher than his expenses. You see, that's the foundation to get wealthy. Lesson 5. Work to learn. Nowadays, many people get a degree just for the sake of a steady and well-paying job. A prime example is Robert Kiyosaki himself. When he graduated from college, he worked in a steady and well-paying job with the chances of increasing his income rapidly. But he quit his job because he was not looking for a steady income that will support him until his deathbed. Instead, he searched for opportunities to learn from because Rich Dad always told him, you need to learn a little about a lot of things. His poor dad instead told him, you need to know a lot about one specialty. So although both his dads had tremendous respect for education and learning, they disagreed on what they thought was important to learn. Of course, both dads worked hard, but they had opposing attitudes and thoughts. Poor Dad recommended, study hard so you can find a company to work for. Rich Dad recommended, study hard so you can find a company to buy. Poor Dad said, the reason I am not rich is because I have kids. Rich Dad said, the reason I must be rich is because I have you kids. Poor Dad explained, when it comes to money, play it safe and don't take risks. Rich Dad explained, learn to manage risks. And most importantly, Poor Dad often shouts, I can't afford that, while Rich Dad asks, how can I? Do you remember the question in the beginning? Think about it. How long could you survive on your savings if you would stop working today? Remember, if you want to become wealthier, knowledge is key. So if you want to gain more knowledge and become better in all areas of life, please subscribe to my channel and join my journey. And if this video was helpful, please give me a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you. I see you in the next video.